I know, I just made a video, but I saw a sign on the side of the road that made me want to talk about something. And this is about the change in our society that a lot of people don't want to confront. In the past, I don't know, 30 years or so, of course I wasn't alive for most of that, there's been a noticeable change in the family life of the average American. And what that is we have stopped being at home for each other. The sign that I just saw comes from the local Mennonites, and I don't know if you know what that is. That's basically a little bit more advanced Amish people. They live old school-ish. They are hardworking people, but they shun modern stuff, most modern stuff. Like they don't have TVs at their homes. They don't have radios at their homes, but they know what their favorite TV show is. They have cell phones. They have running water and electricity. So they're not strictly old school. You know, they're not medieval, but they are old school. And anyway, they are always putting up signs talking about put down the remote, open the Bible. You know, burn the TV, open the Bible. The way to salvation is through Christ. And I'm looking at that, and I'm not a very strict religious person. I'm a more pray at home type person. Like if I worship in the privacy of my own room. I don't go to church because I don't believe a lot of things that go on in church. I don't read the Bible because I don't really believe the Bible. I believe that there is a right and a wrong, and everybody knows it. But anyway, I was sitting there reading this sign, and I was thinking about what families used to do. And that was whenever families used to eat meals, they used to eat meals together. And they would sit down and say grace over that meal, and they would bond as a family over that meal. And I noticed that whenever I started reflecting upon that my family, even my family, doesn't do that anymore. Like, I'll cook, and me and my girl will get something to eat, and then my parents, they'll come and get them something to eat, and we'll just go to separate ends of the house. We eat in our room while we're watching our show, and I haven't really seen anything wrong with that. But I've noticed that we have kind of grown apart. And I think that's something that's happening with a lot of families these days, is they are not bonding with each other in the traditional sense. And all of the bonding used to occur at times that were considered very sacred. Meal times, morning times, and night times. Some families, they pray the first thing in the morning whenever they get their breakfast. They pray in the middle of the day whenever they get their lunch, and then they pray at the evening meal when they get their supper. And they bonded as a family and as a whole cohesive unit during that time. And a lot of families, I know, they don't do that, and then they grow apart. My family was never closer than the time I was in the 6th grade, and we had 3 TV channels because we had one of those old big satellites, and we would eat, and then we would sit down and watch CSI. We watched one or two episodes of CSI, and then we would go to sleep, and we were never closer. And I just think back and wonder how well we would have bonded if we have actually sat down at the table and ate and then watch TV instead of all eating on the couch watching TV. And we used to do that whenever I was little, and probably a lot whenever y'all were little too. We would sit down and eat dinner at the table, or breakfast at the table, as a family, as a whole cohesive unit. And a lot of families have stopped doing that now. And people wonder why we drift apart as individuals and as family members. And it's because we don't spend any quality bonding time with each other. How can you expect to bond with the individuals in your house if you only ever see them in passing? And that's something that I think that a lot of us don't want to think about because it makes us feel bad. A lot of us don't want to see that we're breaking our family bonds because we find ourselves too short on time. Even just sitting down and just at the dinner table or at the table period and just playing dominoes, putting together a jigsaw puzzle, Etch-a-Sketch, something. Set it on the family dinner table, and then eventually everybody will sit down at that table and be together. And I think that's something that all of us should start doing again. I know that's something that whenever me and my girl finally move out, that's one thing that we're going to do, is we're actually going to sit down at a table and look at each other and talk to one another like we do when we go out to eat, but we're going to do it at home. And I challenge everyone who sees this that if you have time, if you truly have time, go get a $10 jigsaw puzzle from Walmart, clear off the dinner table, take all the work stuff, all the clothes off the dinner table, set it down, start working on it, and just work on it 5 minutes each day. And the family will bond over that puzzle, and you will be amazed at what will happen. All right, signing out. Thank you.